Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode on Boundary Line Podcast with Dillon and Sheldon. We are back after a long time. And first of all, let's get Sheldon thoughts on the series. Sheldon, are you surprised the way the series has gone? I mean, India were under the pump in the first test, but then England managed to get saved actually in that first test with the rain on the last day. And but India, after that, taking the Lord's Test by storm and just showed everyone, how this game needs to be played. But then the third test, Sheldon, just completely a different scenario. I mean, India was just under the pump then.
Yeah, crazy. It's great to be back here as well. And what a series! What a series it's been so far. It's just something about big Test match series that gets the blood pumping. And two
Yeah,
competitive sides, two sides so very unpredictable from what we've seen in the three Test
yeah.
matches. And yeah, that first Test, I think England definitely got saved by the rain. I mean, on that last day, you never know what
Oh,
could
of
happen.
course.
But India, with the way KL Rahul was playing at that time, also were in such a good position to win. And then at Lords, you'll say probably England going into the final day were the favorite team going into the
Yeah,
last day. But then heroic stuff from India's bowlers with the bat and with the ball. I mean, that India declaring on the fifth day was shocking, considering you'd have thought they've been all out by then. But that was just comic book stuff, the way they batted, right? Bumrah, Shami, Sharma.
it just kind of brought me back to that thing. Like, I remember the time when Australia was playing India and we had some legendary tests, and even Pakistan and India, even England, Australia for that matter, the Ashes, like, back in the day, the good old stuff. So that test was just absolutely brilliant. But yeah, the third test was just bizarre batting from India. I thought, they 78 all out just brought back memories from Adelaide last year, and it was really really bad batting by them. I mean, like, I was really surprised the way they batted, but in the end, you got to say England played really good cricket. I mean, the bowlers were just spot on right from ball one, right from the first over. It was just spot on.
Yeah, ageless Anderson, right? That guy with the new ball on the first day of the last Test match. I mean, he was just crazy. What was it like? 3 for 10 in like 13 overs. Like
Yeah.
it was some crazy spell.
I
I
mean,
mean,
there's something about James Anderson. I really don't know what he's doing, but I mean, splendid stuff. That's legendary fast bowling there, right there for you in that test.
yeah, he was superb. I feel even the backup bowlers did well for them, and that was the difference. I felt more at Lords, the backup bowlers let
Mhm.
England down a bit, especially
Yeah,
to the tail, India's tail.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but Robinson and Overton, they really backed up Anderson well, and even Sam Curran. I think that was the
Mhm.
main difference, especially on day one of the last test.
Yeah, but right now, coming to the fourth test, I mean, things are even right now, one each to England and India, and this test is going to be exciting. I mean, I if you ask me, Sheldon, I wouldn't want a result right now because I would like it to go to the last test and, like, with still both the teams even, and then, like, everything out there in the last test to be played for, because both the teams have been absolutely brilliant so far. And we'll come to the fourth test in a minute. But just before that, I just want to get your thoughts on this splendid batsman and super batsman and the number one test batsman right now, who's Joe Root. I mean, he's an absolute masterclass. I've not seen. I mean, there's been a long time. I think it's after a long time that someone is having such an extensive run.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I remember all this talk about Root out of the Fab Four. He was out of form for a bit. He was
He was
struggling,
never
and
out of the Fab Four. To be honest, like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
always knew he would do well. Like,
A lot of people were like going on about his conversion rate, how he gets a lot of 50s but not hundreds. Well, he's definitely converting this year. I mean, crazy. What, 600s already?
six
Like,
hundreds in the span of like 6 to 7 months. I mean, eight months to be exact. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. 600
like,
in 8 months
like
is
India's bowlers
splendid.
must be so fed up of seeing Joe Root come to bat. I mean, it's just crazy. And it seems like he's playing the same innings over and over again. And he just comes and he gets used to it. And he plays pretty fast, like in Test
Yeah,
cricket. Like he's usually like 100 of 120 balls, and that's like he just makes it look so easy. And like you
yeah,
almost think like sometimes he just gets himself out by the end. He's like too bored of it by the end.
yeah.
It's just crazy stuff. But what
It's
form
just
he's in.
yeah. He's in the form of his life, Juru, and he's on the verge of breaking a few records there, and hope he does that. I mean, because he's just an absolute brilliant batsman to watch, and just one for the ages, Joe Root. Like, just absolute masterclass stuff this year has been for Joe Root, and hope he goes on to break those records. And let's see how the fourth test goes. So, coming to the fourth test, Sheldon, what are your thoughts? What do you think the pitch is likely to do, and what what do you think is going to happen basically with the pitch over the course of 5 days? I mean,
Yeah, I think the oval usually is pretty flat, but I think definitely England don't want a flat pitch. They want some movement in that pitch, that's for sure. I
yeah,
mean, I think it's gonna swing a bit, but I feel it's gonna be better for batting as well. I think it's so important to win the toss and bat first. Even though last match India decided to bat first and it didn't work, 9 times out of 10 you win the toss, you bat first.
you
It's
bat
the right
first. Yeah,
decision. Yeah,
you don't want
but
to bat. You don't want to bat fourth on this kind of a wicket, like
yeah, and
because
if it's
as the
turning,
wicket, yeah, just towards the fourth, fifth day, then you see the wicket starting to slow down, and then it becomes really difficult to bat, and you don't want that to happen. Traditionally, I think England have done really well on this ground, right?
yeah, I think they have a very good record. Yeah. And the one thing I want to ask you though, speaking of spin, how is Ashwin not playing? I just can't believe that Ashwin hasn't played a test match on this tour yet. I mean, he's arguably the best off spinner in the world right now in test, but he can't get into the Indian team.
Ashwin, like you said, is a champion. Is just a champion in sport. Like the way he thinks and the way he goes about his art is completely brilliant to watch. And he's always one step ahead of the batsman. To be fair, also India did well in the first two tests. So and expecting the pitch to be the same in the third test also, so you wouldn't want to change the combination, right? You wouldn't want to make too many changes. And ideally, I mean, I felt like they went with a good team. Probably they could have got rid of Ishant Sharma out and brought in another fast bowler maybe to get a little help. But in the end, it is what it is. And and if Ashwin doesn't play this test, that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. I mean, all throughout. I mean, all Indian fans are going to be surprised at how he's not going to be playing this next test, because this is the ideal situation now for him to come in and to just turn things around. And probably it'll be an ideal challenge for Joe Root also, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't for sure something different because I think of Ashwin how he did to Steve Smith in Australia. I mean,
Yeah.
those are pretty flat pitches which barely turn, but the way Ashwin got Smith out in those conditions, now that's just skill because it's nothing there for Ashwin. It's just all his natural variation and his plans and
Yeah.
his tricks, and he was
Yeah.
just brilliant there. And yeah, definitely, like India needs something different against Joe Root because if you play the same bowling attack again, like very easily
It's
he could get
it's
another
just
big
going to be
score.
a cakewalk. It's just going to be a
Yeah.
cakewalk. And coming now to the teams, Sheldon, what do you think England are going to do? There's news that Josh Butler's out of the squad. I don't know if that's good, if that's going to work in England's favor or not. But Chris Wokes is back in, right?
Yeah, Chris Wokes. I mean, where's he been? I mean, I really
Another
don't know how Chris Wokes doesn't play more cricket. I'm
that
shocked.
that was my next question to you. I am really surprised how he doesn't play Test cricket, because he's another champion
Yeah,
when it comes to all three formats.
good news that Chris Wokes is in. And I think as much as I like Josh Butler as a player, I could see his Test career fading away. I mean, it's just not worked for him. Until you also, I know you're a fan of Josh Butler. We love the ODI T20 Josh Butler, but in Test cricket, it's just not the same guy. He's trying to be a Test cricketer, but that's not
Yeah,
what he's selected.
I think he's trying a bit too hard, especially
Yeah.
when you're a wicketkeeper batsman and you've been so successful in white ball, and you'll want to replicate that in red ball as well. So I think that's the thing what he's going through. But Josh Butler's that kind of a player where he needs the pitch to be a bit flat also. He doesn't like to face swing bowling that early. So traditionally also, I think if you give him a flat deck, I'm sure he'll do well. But it's just a matter of time for Josh Butler to just take that call. But apart from that, I think the England team is looking really good. I don't know if I can say that the top four have finally clicked, apart from Joe Root, because it's just been one match, but they did pretty well in the last match.
Yeah, they did. But again, the situation that Milan walked into, he's not going to walk into that every day. You're not going to be 40 to 50 runs ahead when he walks into bat.
Yeah,
It's going to be much tougher. But I thought Milan just looked the part.
yeah.
I thought I thought him and Hasib Hamid looked like England are praying and hoping they finally found someone who can open and bat at three, because I think that's the happiest Root's been all series. Happier than when he scored 100. The fact that he could walk in after 50 to
And
60
yeah,
overs, not in the 10th over when the new ball is still new and it's tough and everyone's like on top of him.
the bowling attack for England, Sheldon. What do you think that's going to be? Leave Anderson, play Anderson. You'll be tempted to go one more time, just Anderson versus Kohli. I mean, those two are just literally going at each other on the field and off the field also, right?
You think Anderson needs a rest at some point in the series, but I'd like to see Joe Root go and tell Anderson he's not playing the next test match.
He'll be like, screw you, dude.
Yeah.
I am playing this test match.
Yeah.
I want to finish this year in Old Trafford right now.
Yeah, I think Anderson is going to play. I don't know if it's the right call. I mean, we'll only find out probably tomorrow. I think Anderson will play. I think Wokes is going to play as well. I think the only thing is about Mark Wood's fitness.
Yeah.
But I think Wokes would come in for Sam Curran, and that's the only change in the bowling attack. I think also Ollie Pope will come in. I think for Joss Butler. At best, will move to 7 and Pope at 5. But Dill, on to India's team. The 3, 4, and 5. There's a lot of questions arising on them. We've seen them done it so often though. World class players. But who would you say is biggest at risk? Is it Ajinkya Rahane?
I
Maybe?
think it's Rahane. I mean, there's no question about it. It's Rahane. Yeah, this game is strange, Sheldon, because a few months from now, in January, when Rahane won in the Australia series, everyone was just praising Rahane and saying that he should be, he should be the next guy in line. I mean, we don't want Virat Kohli to be the captain. Let it be Rahane. Like I said, this game is really strange, and just a few bad scores, and then people are like already pointing fingers at him and asking him to be dropped.
Yeah.
His form has not been good. He's struggling to score. He's a senior member. He's a vice captain of the team. He needs to step up now. If not now, when? We all get it. Kohli's struggling. Pujara just got runs in the last match. Rahul and Rohit are looking good, but not actually getting the runs that they actually require. From their perspective, everybody's going to be pointing fingers at him, man. And I think they're going to give him a run this entire England series. I don't see them making any changes. Probably if this test ends in a draw and they'll probably take it to the 5th test, then they would be tempted to make some changes in the batting lineup. But Rishabh Pant again remains a big question for me, because KL Rahul can also keep wickets. Yeah. It just goes to see how much confidence they have in Rishabh Pant.
Yeah, I mean, you could play Rahul keeping, but then ask him to open. But he's done so well opening. You don't want to change that as well and put Rahul down the order and mix up the pack. But again, when I think of Rahane, I just think that knock in Melbourne, that was arguably one of his best knocks. India 1-0 down in Australia. Boxing Day test match, and then how quickly things change, right? A couple of months down, and everyone wants you out of the team.
Everyone wants you out of the team, and I feel like going into this test match, a 4th test, I think Rahane and India are in the same kind of zone like they were coming from Adelaide also. India under the pump, lost very badly, humiliating defeat there in Adelaide, coming to Melbourne, and same thing here now. They come in Old Trafford, and hopefully they can do well, but we just need to wait and see what's going to happen. And a lot depends on the toss also, I think, tomorrow. Coming to the bowling lineup for India. I mean, there's one change which you would like to see, which we've already addressed. I mean, I think that's definitely going to happen, right?
And if Ashwin doesn't play tomorrow, I'd be very surprised. I think everyone would be surprised. And I think the obvious one would be also Ishant Sharma. I feel he looked he looked very gassed last game. Yeah. Ishant Sharma, I think he'd go out. But Kohli said something very interesting at the end of last game. He says he likes the balance of the side. Yeah. So I think he likes having 4 seamers.
Like we've seen earlier also in England, you need to have 4 seamers in your team, at least, because that 4th seamer is actually very important. I don't know who they're going to pick as a 4th seamer. Is it going to be Yadav or Shardul? Thakur can probably strengthen that batting order a bit. But Bumrah, Siraj and Mohammad Shami are likely going to play, I feel. But it'll be interesting to see whether they're going to rest one of them. Actually, pretty sure Ashwin's back in the team, and hopefully Shardul Thakur is that one change which they want to make, strengthen the batting order.
But yeah, I think if Jadeja doesn't play though, would they be tempted to play Ashwin at 7, or is that too high probably for Ashwin to play?
That's not the main point over here for India. They have to address their batting issues first. Yeah. Every ball bowled to Pujara, Kohli and Rahane, you knew something was going to happen with the balls. Yeah. And the fact that no one gives credit to Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul for seeing off the new ball really well. Prediction time, Sheldon. What's your prediction on this? England, India, or a draw? What's going to happen? Take it down to the last test. I know you want that to happen.
Yeah, a draw going to the last day of the last test. Anyone could win. Ooh, I think the toss is very important.
Go for it.
I think momentum's with England, but then again, I think momentum was with India going to the last test, and it just turned like that. It's just crazy. I'm tempted to say a draw, but yeah, I think I'll go with the draw. You do?
Yeah, same. I also think that it's going to be a draw most likely because I don't know if the seamers are going to get that much of an assistance, from the pitch. I don't think so. It's going to be that much. But I think it's going to be a draw. It just makes it more exciting to watch the last test. The fifth test. It's just too intense. This is the hard way to play test cricket. This is what everyone plays for. This is what it is like. At the end of the day, and it's just going to be exciting, Sheldon.
Super excited for the first ball to be bowled tomorrow, and like whatever happens, and it's so unpredictable as well. I think the way it's gone so far, like God,
Yeah.
honestly, anyone could India could turn up and just like hammer them, or England could turn up and it could be a similar test match. It's just
Yeah.
so unpredictable.
And I hope we get all 5 days because I believe there was a rain on the last 2 days.
I think that's one thing. I think that India hit the most on the English tours, and that's the English weather.
It's
More than the
just not a
pitches
good
or
love
the.
story. Not a good love story. England weather and India. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been fun, and it's lovely to be back on this podcast with you guys. And like always, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And do stay tuned to us and. Follow us on Instagram. The handle's down there in the description. It's boundary_line_podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.